Hello friends, how are you? I'm sorry I haven't been ignoring you, it's just been a busy couple of weeks, but great to be back with a new episode of our little YouTube show. We've got some great stuff coming up for you today. Mr. Ben Wheatley, who is going to be this week's guest on the podcast. We have a big full-length, fabulous sounding episode with Ben talking about lots of things, including his brand new film Rebecca, which you can watch on Netflix now, and also working with Clint Mansell again. And Clint's made the most beautiful score for Rebecca. They also talk about the fact that they've already filmed another film together. That's coming up in a bit. First up, Django Django, who are a band that I have loved over the years, both as a band in their own right, also working with John McLean on the brilliant Slow West. Fantastic film, if you haven't seen that. Seek it out, it's so good. But very exciting to have new music from them and an album in the distance next year, I believe. They'll tell you some more when you hear from them right now. And this new single as well, Spirals, has got a fantastic MGMT remix that you'll hear them talk about as well. So great to chat to Django Django and have some new music. So we've got Spirals, which is this new track, and as well as having the single, there's this I got sent this brilliant MGMT remix of it as well, which is awesome. And that's also a really nice thing as well, where you get, you know, you guys have kind of historically, that remix world has been something you've always kind of encouraged and been part of for your music, but it's really interesting when you give it to someone else to have their interpretation of it in a way.
Yeah, I think Dave's quite, our drummer, like, is he's quite good at, you know, access and that kind of, you know, what would be a good link.
Yeah.
And then I was really surprised they said yes. Like we're big fans of, you know, of them, and it's great. It's great. It's a great thing to have.
It's a nice kind of companion. You know, that's the kind of great thing about it. It's with remixes, is when when you get it right, it's like, oh, it's
exactly.
It's a different emotion or feel to it, which I think is great.
When there's a good remix, it is like, because there's so many times you can kind of try stuff and things can be, but you know, they don't kind of lock or something like that. But to get ones that really kind of make it almost better than the original track in some ways, like really bring some to the table. It's really cool.
Tell me about kind of where you are with a whole new collection of tunes, or where are you? Because kind of Spirals is the first thing that we've had for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose we've got the album all kind of done. Well, it's all, you know, kind of ready to go. I don't know if that's officially, you know, I think they're going to do an album announcement at some point. But we're excited. We're kind of just working through. Obviously, it's weird. We're kind of rehearsing them for different bits of promo, but with no. I mean, there's an idea about when we'll, you know, play live, but
yeah,
it's the first time it's, you know, you're kind of rehearsing tracks or trying to interpret them in a way that maybe it's not straight as they are on the record, with no maybe fixed sight in terms of how you would play in a live setup.
Yeah.
So it's a slightly strange kind of experience, but it's still good to get our kind of teeth into. But yeah, Spiral's the first one, and there's tons of other stuff. So yeah, it'd be good to get something out.
How would you describe this record? What's it? Talk to me a little bit about what it sounds like and what the influences on it.
Jim, do you want to?
I mean, look, it's always a case whenever we finish a record. I think you kind of start to deconstruct it, and it's only like once it's finished and you have it as a you know, a record, a finished record, that you start to kind of even work out what the themes were and stuff. The way that we work is often, you know, four of us in a room just kind of working on an idea, or even just starting from scratch. So I don't think we've ever approached a song or a record before we started it, and being like, okay, let's write this type of song or this type of record. And it's not until you kind of finish a record that you look back through it and kind of start to join the dots, I guess. But I mean, I guess, with Spirals, and there's a few other tracks, on the record that are essentially about being connected to people, and this theme of just of everyone being in the same boat, or kind of this connectivity between people, even when you don't necessarily see it. It's quite a basic thing, that
miss it so much.
Yeah, and I think it's quite, it's I guess lockdown came around after we'd finished this kind of past year and a half of writing or whatever, but it seems very, looking back, I think the themes of a lot of the songs seem quite on point at the moment. But I think there's always something that's always there, it's quite a basic kind of feeling, I guess, or emotion, being connected to people, and I guess it's just heightened at the moment with everything that's going on.
So when you say that you've been rehearsing, have you all actually been like, in a room with your masks on? That's awesome. Wicked. Not many people are doing that.
Really?
No.
I think we were just, I just needed to get out of the house. I was just like, I'm done. Like, this room here, I spent like 6 months in here. I was just like, get me the hell out of here. And the studio for me, it's easier for me. I live 10 minutes from the studio. Jim lives in Margate, so it's a bit more tricky. And Tommy moved to Glasgow, so he's got a bit of a commute. Down
nice
to,
train journey down.
Tottenham Hale. So yeah, it's been good. It's been nice and kind of fresh to be back in the same room again.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference.
I was talking about your music recently as well, because I did there's this great little podcast that Doc talks about films that are under 90 minutes. And so I picked Slow West as my film. And and so we were, the one thing that we were sort of harping on about was like, bloody hell, when's John going to make another film, sort of thing. It's like, the last one was so good. It's like,
I know.
Come on.
Yeah.
But obviously kind of being part of that world and how well your music fits with cinematic stuff as well. That was something I wanted to kind of speak to you about, was about, kind of that world and thinking about that world specifically, and if that's something that you would like to pursue as a band, sort of thing, in terms of, not just a case of your music being used within film, but specifically writing for film. Is that something you enjoy doing and would like to kind of?
I think the nice thing about work, I remember, kind of trying to, come up with tracks for John's film, and the nice thing about it, which was just a total departure with how we'd usually work, was just getting like the scene, the last scene of the film, and then he'd send a couple of references, and it was almost like I guess it's just very different way of working. It was I think we all really enjoyed it. It was almost just like, I guess it just allowed us to be a bit more experimental and not be thinking too much about it appearing on a Django record or something like that. I think for me personally, anyway, it's it was a really nice way of working. It'd be nice to do it again at some point. Yeah, it's just finding time.
Yeah,
he's quite a reactive director as well. Like I suppose he kind of, if he sees something on the hoof, either we've done a few videos with him, and there'll be like a little accident that happens, and he'll just say, "Do that again," and he'll make a focus on it.
Yeah.
And it's the same with, he put out the brief for the track, and it was quite like a somber track that he wanted, or the kind of references, and then I was playing the kind of essentially that little riff, and he was like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's just something I've got lying around." And then he was like, "That's right, let's just do that." So he kind of just reacts to the moment, which I think you can see those references in Slow West,
Yeah.
little kind of accidental kind of gems in a way.
basically what happened is I'd spent the whole day trying to come up with an idea, and then Vinny turned up hungover at about 5 o'clock, was noodling about on the guitar, and John was like, "That's it!" I was like, "Oh, come on."
Rose, my love.
Jane, my Romeo.
Once upon a time, Jay Cavendish travelled from the cold shoulder of Scotland to the baking heart of America to find his love. A jackrabbit in a den of wolves.
Arms abroad, boy.
Sir, I'm Jay Cavendish, son of Lady Cavendish.
We're all sons of bitch.
Keep heading west solo, you'll be dead by dawn.
I take care of myself.
Sure, kid. You need chaperoning. Let's drift.
Care not why I'm headed west.
No.
It was an accident. It was all my fault. My girl and her father fled from Scotland.
Nobody knows where we are. Nobody knows who we are.
They're bounty hunters.
What do they want?
Blood, money, and $2,000. Entices a certain breed of undesirable.
Just what breeds are you?
May I enter?
It's a free country.
Are you headed west?
North.
West. Big storm coming. It's big trouble.
I've been waiting, wishing.
Teaming up with them? I think that's a smart play.
There's more to life than surviving.
Yeah, there's dying.
Kill that house!
Yes, sir. No, sir. 3 bags full of shit.
But I don't want to talk about it.
Deep in the west. Kick over any rock. And a desperado. Crawl out and knife you right in the heart.
Lay a finger on her and I'll kill you! Cause our love don't exist when a boy wanna play so.
You know, next time you speak to him, just tell them, get a bloody move on, yeah?
Yeah, we'll do.
Not bad, kid.
Will we get something before the end of the year, do you think? Or in terms of an album, or will it be, have you...
I think the next single is November, like mid-November. And then the album, I think, is scheduled for end of January, start of February.
Great.
So I'm excited. Hopefully next year there'll be a few things. I think we're kind of counting on, weirdly, 2022, which is as when it will properly come back in, which is a crazy thought. But hopefully it'll kind of turn the corner before that.
Yeah, thanks so much for your time.
Right, brilliant.
Yeah, and massive congrats on the record so far from what I've heard.
All right, wicked. Thanks very much.
Edith.
Take care, guys.
Okay,
see ya.
Cheers.
Bye. Django Django, they're great to catch up with them and excited about new music coming next year. Ben Wheatley, I'm a massive fan. He was our first ever guest on Soundtracking and he's back for a 4th sitting. First person we've had back 4 times. He's got a new film out called Rebecca. Now, obviously, there was a Hitchcock version in the 40s. It's a fantastic adaptation that has been done by Jane Goldman, a few other writers as well. And Ben's really done his own take of it. And Ben's one of those directors that he's very clear about the fact that he always likes to take kind of 90 degrees turn when he does his next project from the last one. And Rebecca is, I think for a lot of people, not what you'd expect from a Ben Wheatley film, but I love what he's done with it. And the score that Clint Mansell has produced is extraordinary. It is so beautiful. I've already placed my order for the vinyl with Invada Records, which is where you can get a hold of it. But sit down and sit back and enjoy the wonderful and the brilliantly entertaining Ben Wheatley.
The Terrace is for guests only.
Monsieur, the young lady will be joining me. What did you do?
I'm a lady's companion.
Maxim de Winter. His wife died last year and is in dire need of company.
I'm Monsieur de Winter.
What are you doing?
Oh, you'll see.
This week, I'd like Let's never forget it.
Come to Mandalay. I'm asking you to marry me, you little fool. Mrs. De Winter, may I present Mrs. Danvers?
Welcome to Mandalay.
Never seen a house like this.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you'd been a lady's maid.
This is all very new to me.
Oh, I'm sure you won't disappoint him, madam, if that's your concern. We did a lot of entertaining when the late Mrs. De Winter was alive.
You can talk to me about her. I have no secrets from you.
All marriages have their secrets.
Has Max ever talked to you about the accident?
I don't know what you're talking about. How am I supposed to know anything if you don't tell me?
She's still here. Can you feel her?
You were tossing and turning all night. Rebecca. Bad dream?
She was the love of his life. I wonder what she's thinking about you. Taking her husband, using her name. He doesn't love you.
I said I want the truth.
You didn't know her. You know what he did.
He can't go on living in that big old house with a ghost!
I don't believe in ghosts.
Thanks for doing this for a fourth time. You're a record breaker on soundtracking. It's brilliant. Thank you.
It's almost like a day's worth of chat now, isn't it?
Love it. I love it. Well, you know, we can't thank you enough because you were our first guest. So we're 216 episodes in. So it's an absolute treat to have you back.
Where was that? That was at the
House Central.
The house, wasn't it? Yeah, it's the first time I've been there, I think.
Yeah. Unfortunately closing its doors this week as well, which is so sad.
Yeah, man.
Listen, congratulations on this film. I mean, we spoke about it last night with a couple of your cast, and I thought this was. I just love how you've said this in the past about how you kind of deliberately do a kind of right turn into what you do next sort of thing. And what was the appeal for you with Rebecca? If you don't mind, just talking about why you wanted to. Give us your version of this, Daphne du Maurier story, which. I mean, her book's got so much to tell, and how you found your story within that.
Yeah, I think it's from a lot. It starts in a lot of different places. There's all these things as projects usually do, but it was kind of. I got when I was doing some work at Working Title, and they were developing a few things, and they said they'd been working on a version of Rebecca for a while. And would I like to read the script? And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess. I mean, it felt very kind of left of field for me. And that immediately attracted me to it, And I thought, and for a while I've been, after the Colin Burstead film, which was a major landmark for me because no one died in it, I was quite excited about that. And it's part of a kind of an ongoing project to kind of, as much as I love genre, and I've just made another horror film, but just I wanted to make some, stuff that was outside of kind of horror or outside of anything too kind of murdery. So it's kind of, but then it was
the new genre film.
Yeah. Well, there's so many genres. Isn't it? I like people in rooms. That's a genre, isn't it? That you get quite a lot, just people talking in rooms. But and I thought there was a lot of stuff in it that I really enjoyed. That a lot of emotional kind of content to it, and kind of a heartfelt emotion. And what I really liked about the script as well was it was non-ironic. It was like it wasn't smirky and winking at the audience. It was and it had all those qualities that those old Hollywood movies had, that were, it wasn't ashamed about being entertaining, and it wanted to take you somewhere, grab you. It's going to go, all right, we're going on holiday, and now we're going over to this big house, and now we're going to go through all these emotions and ups and downs and travel through it. And I thought that was great, and it kind of made me think about why I love cinema in the first place. I was like, oh, well, that is the big, that kind of big emotional Hollywood style, so that was the kind of the beginning of it. And then I think it was looking at the Du Maurier book and kind of that idea of like her almost tricking her own audience and kind of going like, oh, you want me to write a romance novel? Okay, well, this is what my idea of a romance novel is, and now I'm going to drag you somewhere really dark, and you thought you were along for this ride, but actually you're going on this ride, which is something that appealed to me from the other films I'd made. You know, it's like that idea.
Yeah, it's like Sightseers as a great example.
Really, like I think the film is really like Sightseers. To be honest, it's the same structure as Sightseers, in the same way that Sightseers is the same as Kill List, which is a couple driving around killing people. You know, but this is more the structure of Sightseers, which I like in this is that it's a man and he goes, "Oh, come with me, innocent woman." And then the woman becomes much more powerful and more interesting than the man, you know. And I think it's very similar in those respects. And that honestly is something I didn't spot until halfway through making it. And I kind of started chuckling and going, oh God, yeah, it's Sightseers, that's funny. But it's, you know, and I think I'm kind of attracted to the idea of the weak man and the woman who sees the weakness in the man and kind of moves. That's a trope I enjoy a lot, and I think I have that in a lot of the films I've made. You know,
music on this film. I spent the whole morning just listening to Clint's score, and it's incredible. It's a lovely luxury to get to remove the music from the film to just listen to it as well. And I think in terms of, you know, you two have obviously got this brilliant relationship with the number of films that you've worked on. But I think what's great is that with that right or left hand turn that you make him do the same thing as well. And I think that this is a very different score for Clint, in a really brilliant way. I absolutely love it. I think that, I don't know whether it's a confidence that you instill in each other or whatever, but I think that this is just an absolutely stunning piece of work.
Yeah, I mean, the conversation we had really early on was that it was just going to be huge, you know, and that it was going to be music like from the beginning to the end. And I think the film's 2 hours, just over 2 hours, and the score is 90 minutes. So it's mostly Clint music across the whole thing. And it was going towards an idea of using underscore, which I'd always been a bit sniffy about underscore, or I don't know what it was. I didn't really understand it, I don't think, or I was worried about using it, you know.
Yeah.
I think what I tell you what it was is probably it's a respect for the composer, that I felt that it was a bit bad form to turn the music down low underneath drama, and I thought that was a bit shitty. And it's like, and I know that I've like listened to some of my favorite soundtracks. I've like listened to and gone, oh God, I don't know any of this stuff. It must have been mixed really low in the thing, and it often is. And you go, God, this is the best music ever in it. And you can imagine the composer going, that was the best music ever. Now it's lost underneath the thing. So I kind of, and if you listen to the other films, the music tends to be quite high or not. So you get big bits of music, or you just. And we certainly did that in High Rise. There's a lot of music that's really front of house, and there's no real kind of mood music or kind of emotional music underneath. So anyway, that was a big change, and but we really got into it, you know. And Clint had been doing a lot of demos. He'd kind of had about 3 or 4 months worth of demos while we were making the movie. So when we came to edit it, it wasn't like suddenly waiting for it. It was suddenly all there, and the suites of music had been kind of created. So it was more of an ongoing process than I'll watch the edit and then go into it, which was a different way of working again than we've had before. But yeah, I mean, the actual process of it was very similar, you know, which is just kind of, I suppose it was more relaxed than maybe High Rise was, because we'd worked together before. So I knew that on High Rise there was like a much more of a gap between the demos and the final piece. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of like, oh, I know it's Clint, so it's gonna be fine, but how much of this demo is the real, you know, how much of it's going to be real and how much of it's going to sound like that.
Yeah.
It was much more, I could listen to it and go, well, I know exactly what this is. I know what the gap is between demo and final piece now. So that was easier and slightly less like stressful.
What point did he come on board with this? What point did he start? And did you send him a script? What was his kind of, you know, what was
it was very early on. Yeah. I mean, it had to be because of the way that the the film was put together. So with the financing, it was all, everybody was in place for that. So it was right from the very beginning. So, but yeah, I mean, and you know, obviously we just come off of the Colin Burstead film as well. So that kind of, it kind of dovetailed in from that one.
What's next? Is this, because I know you mentioned to me the other day about something that you and Clint were working on together. I don't know if you've talked about it, and I can take this out if you don't want it in here anyway. But I got sent a little video of Clint with a pot plant.
Yeah, well, he's doing a
microphoned. Like he had some kind of, you know, those pads you put on yourself to check if you know, your heart rate and stuff, ECG pads or whatever, attached to a pot plant. I love it. With it attached to a Moog.
Yeah, what is it called? Oh God, I knew what it was. It's a special kind of widget thing that plugs into plants so you can listen to them sing.
No.
So you touch their leaves and they go. So there's a big soundtrack that's all like that, screaming plants and stuff.
Why did I not know about this? This is amazing. I'm going straight on Amazon to try and buy some so I can record my garden.
Oh God, yeah. There's a special there's a special thing you can buy, yeah, and you plug it straight into a synth. So it's for a horror film that we've been doing, and it's a massive synth soundtrack basically. So it's like that stuff is half of it. Then he's been using this synth called a lyra. So there's lots of lyra based music in it, and then other more kind of Moog and all that kind of stuff. So it's very exciting. So that one was like we shot the film.
Oh, you've shot already?
Yeah, we did it already. We were going to go and shoot it, and like 2 days before we started shooting it, the soundtrack turned up from Clint. So I was like, oh my God. And it was like 45 minutes worth of music. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And so I shot it and edited it to the music as we did it. And it's been fantastic. But this is the kind of world where you don't, you know, in Rebecca world, obviously Clint doesn't have an orchestra hanging around his house to bang out the demos. So they go through a kind of synthy world before they become the proper score. But in this thing, it's like straight from his fingers straight to the film, you know, so that's it, very exciting.
And I love the idea that you shot to it as well. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we
you know, with the essence of it in mind, I guess.
Yeah. And like each night I'd be editing it, and everyone would sit round and we'd have a few beers and kind of listen to it with the music. And we were staying in this hotel in Henley, which we bought the whole hotel out because to do the bubble and all that, you know.
Yeah.
And people thought that there was near an airport because I was playing the sound so loud on the thing, and like 5-6 rooms down, they were just shaking in the room because of the sub bass was so massive. And, when are those planes taking off from? You know, so.
Oh, I love it. Has it got a name? Is it out there or not yet?
No, not yet. It's called The Growing Green, but it's very early days with it yet. Okay. But it's shot. I mean, it's basically the first British film to be shot that's not like pickups or a reshoot or whatever. So we'd planned it very early on. So I'd kind of I started writing it like the second week of lockdown, so that we'd get it ready for when things. And we managed to just get it at the bottom of the curve before it went up the other side. So we shot that, and then and now we're just working on the post stuff, really.
Amazing. And Tomb Raider 2?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's in the COVID world as well at the moment, so we're waiting.
Oh, I can't wait to see what you do with that, though. I'm so excited to see what you do with that. Listen, it's always a blimmin' treat to get to chat to you, and thanks so much for your time, and also just all your support on this as well, for coming back for a 4th visit.
Well, I've been listening to a lot of the podcasts, and I really enjoy them. I particularly like the Invada one. That was an and the Meat one's brilliant as well. I love all that.
Yeah, I got a Jeff messaged me yesterday because I moved I'm in Gloucestershire now, so he's just down the road in Bristol.
Oh right,
so we're trying to he's got some place he wants us to kind of meet up halfway sort of thing. But they're amazing, him and Reg. And you know what they're doing as well, and what they've done in that whole journey of their, you know, Invada with the
story of
soundtracks.
Drive was brilliant, wasn't it? I loved all that.
Oh, it's great.
Looks at the credits at the end and just.
It comes from the heart, you know. It comes from proper fans and
I
being
like the
into
Mothersburg
it.
stuff as well. That was all Mothersburg stuff. Is that right? Yeah. That was really great. And I was getting the. What's it? He gets the edit of Pee-wee's Big Adventure and he goes, "Oh, this is rubbish," because it's got no music on it. So, so good.
Oh, great to chat to you, Ben. Take care. I hope to see you soon, and massive congrats again on the film, mate.
Cheers. Thank you.
I mean, that's lots of exciting news, isn't it? It's Tomb Raider, this new horror film that he's already done, and Clint scored. You can watch Rebecca on Netflix now. You can get Clint's score. I mean, this is a give situation, surely. And thank you so much for checking out this little episode of our companion YouTube show to the podcast. The podcast is available now with Ben, and you can hear an extended chat with all the music that he talks about. Just head to your usual podcast provider and download it. And thank you for watching this. Make sure you subscribe. I'll see you soon.